What's up, guys? So yesterday I showed you that I think I have some garlic ready. So I figured I had some downtime right now. I figured it was the perfect time to go harvest the rest of that garlic. I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to weed the bed, which is something I wanted to do, but I definitely have some time to harvest all of the garlic, and then we'll worry about weeding it later. Yeah, this garlic is definitely ready to be harvested. So we have some garlic here that's basically all invisible because they've died back. So we're gonna get out here and start harvesting some garlic. I did harvest a garlic from right there yesterday and showed you. There was one here and one down here somewhere. So I think the rest of this garlic, yeah, this is ready. So we'll get in here and, oh, I wonder if I'm gonna need a shovel. Oh, I hear it coming up. Oh my goodness, guys. I finally did it. I've been trying to grow basically, well, definitely elephant garlic here to get like the big old cloves, and I don't know if you guys can see as me just picking that out of the ground. I'm looking for my harvest basket so I can really show you guys, but that garlic clove is like really big, and I am so happy about it. Let me look for my basket. My basket's out here somewhere. Okay. Like, that's legit baseball size. I've shared before, but like all of these little dots on the bottom is baby elephant garlic. They're like 1 year elephant garlic. I just throw those back in the soil. But guys, look at that. That's amazing. It looks like I pulled them at the right size and at the right time. Like, that's I'm so happy about that. Can you see how big this is? Okay, I just walked. This was like the middle of the bed. I'm gonna start at the front and then we'll work our way down. The other reason I'm really happy is because I transplanted all this garlic. If you guys have been following me a while, you know that I had all of my elephant garlic sprouting at the end of the bed, and when oops, that one just broke, and I didn't know if I could transplant them. I'm gonna have to get a shovel. These are breaking. I didn't know if I could transplant them, and I didn't know how they were gonna do, but I tried anyway, and obviously transplanting them did not hurt them at all. Oh, wow, okay. That was an onion. And I didn't know that. That's awesome. And there's so much weeds in here. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a shovel. That's just breaking. So they definitely aren't all as big as the first one I pulled out. Let me show you the sizes. And I'm not sure if all of these are elephant garlic, but these were the 3 that I just pulled out compared to this one. These could just be soft neck garlic, which is smaller than elephant garlic to begin with, because you can see it's kind of like, I want to say even less than half the size of the elephant garlic we pulled out. This was just whatever garlic I planted, what, 2 years ago, which I think I did. Oh, this is just whatever garlic that I planted in here 2 years ago, and I think it was, I want to say it was a mixture between elephant garlic, soft neck, and hard neck. And the hard neck being just from the store, like that one was barely anything. And I think I'm just going to, how I got all this garlic was forgetting to harvest my garlic last year, and it overwintered. Well, it didn't overwinter, it over summered, I guess, and then in the fall slash winter, it all started sprouting up, and then I transplanted it because I didn't buy my own seed garlic, and you can see it is giving me garlic, which is definitely was time to harvest, because most of these stalks are really dead, and that seems like that happened so fast. Like that one, basically nothing. And I'm just gonna bury it back in the ground, the smaller ones, and hopefully it'll do the same thing it did last year, where it overwintered and then came back, and maybe I can get them to grow bigger next year. Oh, that just broke. No. The drip has been on this, and the places where the water is like, or the drip line's at, it's where the garlic is hard to take out, and it's the garlic that's ripping. Because the other garlic that, like, this was way easy to pull out whole. You can see I pulled it out whole, and the one that I first pulled out whole, but the ones that I guess is a different variety, maybe it's not, elephant garlic, is harder to pull out because the necks just break. So next time, note to self, remember to turn off irrigation. We put straw down as a mulch, and this was not okay. The mulch has sprouted, and so there's lots of grass in here, which is easier to pull out this grass, this whatever it was, wheat or whatever. But we also have, like, them trying to go to seed, and oh my goodness, this elephant garlic's huge. Now that's a great size one. That's probably even bigger than the first one we pulled out. So we're at the end of the bed, and I know I've left some garlic in here. I've left some garlic in here on purpose and by accident. And I said I wasn't going to weed this bed. I was just going to harvest the garlic, but while I was in here, some of the weeds were, like, most of the weeds are just so bad and in the way of the garlic that I had to weed as much as I can. And I don't know if you can see, but all this row going down is filled with the garlic. This row is filled. I got a bunch that was these size, which is amazing. But yeah, you can see all of the weeds that I had to pull out while harvesting. So it was definitely a lot of weeds. As I was pulling, I was thinking about what I want to do, because obviously the straw did not work at keeping weeds down. It kind of created its own weeds, which, wow, there's a bird right there. It kind of created its own weeds to pull out, but I mean, those were easy to pull out because they were more on the surface. But I do have this other kind of, I don't know if it's crabgrass or whatever, that grows really, really deep. And so I had that. I had some other looking stuff that I usually don't have growing in here. And so I want to definitely plant something in this spot. Usually I don't plant anything after my garlic is done in this bed, but I do not want to leave this bed empty, because leaving it empty or leaving the soil bare, it's going to grow something, and if it's going to grow weeds, I prefer it not to. So I was thinking about maybe putting some more green beans was an option that I was thinking. I wasn't thinking squash just because they grow really wide, although I do have some squash that said it was more compact, and I could possibly do that because I don't want to shade out the dwarf tomatoes any more than I have with the basil that sprouted in here from last year. And so you guys let me know if you have any opinions on what I should put in front of these tomatoes in the empty spots. So like there's an empty spot here where there's not basil growing, and there's an empty spot going down towards the front where there's not basil growing. I have a random okra planted it here, and I know I didn't plant okra here. I guess it fell from the bed over there, which is fine. I just don't want to leave this soil bare because it's going to start growing something. Like, yeah, I just found this garlic that I guess I had left in the ground. Some of the garlic, if it was, so I was trying to pull out this weed and it pulled out the whole basil plant. Some of the garlic, if it was just tiny, I left it inside the bed. Or if I saw the tops and the top was already dead, like stringy like this, I left it in the ground because it just looked on the smaller side. But it was deceiving because some of the ones that I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and pull it up, they were actually pretty big. Like, but a lot of tops came off and we had to dig it out. Yes? Yes?
Huh?
Yes?
Can I play my game? Because the movie's getting boring.
No. A lot of tops came off while I was pulling, and so I'm trying to find one that came off. Nope, that didn't come off. But there's tops in here that came off, and I had to go ahead and dig. So this is the basket full, which I will say is pretty awesome. Like I said, a lot of them are really this big elephant garlic size, and then I have some that I'm sure is soft neck, because one, the neck is soft compared to like a hard neck where the neck is hard, and they're much smaller. And like, this is garlic that I had planted 2 years ago, left it in the ground, and it kind of disappeared, kind of like what just happened to me. Like, there's one, not that grasshopper that I tried to step on, but like one right here. I planted a whole row of some smaller garlics back here, and literally they all disappeared. And so I know I'm gonna have garlic popping back up here next year. I don't mind that I left the smaller ones in here. I'm hoping that by leaving the smaller ones, that would give them a chance to stay in the ground, and then come November, the bigger ones pop up. I see that I left, looks like I left one in here. So like spaces like this where there's soil, bare soil, I want to be able to plant. And I'm thinking that green beans would be my best bet, but you guys let me know. I do have some compact squashes, especially since some of my squashes are starting to suffer from pest damage. But this is all of the weeds that I pulled out of this bed, like, which is crazy. And I started even on the back end of this side, and I kind of stopped because most of this is basil, but there was, I think this section was the biggest section that I weeded. You guys want the secret to grow great elephant garlic? Leave it in the ground 2 years and then transplant them. But I'm glad to know that transplanting, I wasn't sure if transplanting was going to hurt my crop or not, but I knew that it was better to go ahead and separate them and transplant them so that they could all have room to grow, rather than trying to leave them really squished together, because they were kind of, the bulb just stayed in the ground, and then it was like, you know, 5 to 10 garlic cloves all, or elephant garlic cloves all sprouting together. And what I did was dig them up, separate them, and then plant them all over. And so I think this year I'm gonna save my biggest elephant garlic, and then I'm gonna use that as seed garlic next year, and then whatever else pops up inside the garden, depending on how big those are, I will just separate those and do the same thing, and keep doing that. And hopefully I won't have to bark garlic ever again. That would be really nice. And so I'm really happy with this harvest. So thank you guys for hanging out with me while we harvested this garlic. I don't know how much we got. I guess we can go inside and see, but I'm really happy with it.